the holiday season is upon us, and whether or not you're planning on making gifts, knitting them, or if you want to make something to decorate, it is definitely in the air, that sentiment of like, I want to make something Christmassy related. So this video is for you. If you're not sure what to knit, if you want to make some decorations and you want to make some little gifts or decorations as gifts, I have some knitting pattern options that are going to help you make a decision or at least save them for future holidays. Another good reason to get into holiday knitting right now, not only because if you've done it before, you know that the timeline is right. If you don't start soon, you're likely not going to finish on time. There are also a lot of yarn sales happening at this time of year, and the biggest one in my opinion is the Nitpix Big Sale. If you've never heard of Nitpix, it is a yarn brand that I adore. I use it for a lot of my projects, and once a year they have this amazing sale where almost everything on their website is on sale, and not just on sale but like up to like 60% off. Last year I made a huge haul, well, huge for my standards because I try not to buy tons of yarn at once, but I did buy a bunch of yarn, and one of the yarns that I bought is my favorite yarn from Nitpix, which is Wool of the Andes, and I used it to make the sweater that I'm making. So I actually used it for a project in mind, and as you can tell, it's like a little holiday sweater. This is the festive yoke pullover, and the pattern is by Skin Near Neats, and I will put the link below if you're interested in making it. So if you want to make a big project like this or a small one, I do recommend that you check out the sale. The Nitpix Big Sale starts on November 11, which should be when I post this video, and they'll have different things going on different days, but you really should check it out as soon as it comes out because the yarn runs out, the colors run out. It's a great sale, and they only do it once a year. So check it out if you are interested. Down below there is a link. Now, I love big projects like this one. I actually really wanted to make some holiday sweaters before, and so this one was like a big project that I wanted it to be Christmassy, but not like red and white and all those colors. That's why I went with like a more brown beige situation. But it doesn't mean that sweaters are the only thing that you can make for the holidays. So I have a lot of suggestions. A few years ago, I made a video where I had like really last minute gifts that I recommended for the holidays. This time, these are really just Christmas themed knitting patterns, and I'm gonna divide it in different categories so that you can pick and choose different patterns from each category. So let's start with Christmas stockings, because I think Christmas stockings is like the thing that everybody thinks of maybe when you think of knitting Christmas inspired something. And the thing about stockings is that they're basically a one big sock. And so just like socks, they're like a canvas. You have a shape, and then you can do almost anything you want within that shape. You can have fun cables, you can have color work, you like have as many colors as you want. You can make it simple, you can make it customized with somebody's name or somebody's colors or pattern that you want in it. It really is kind of like a canvas that you just fill out with whatever you want. And the nice thing about it too is that you don't have to knit two like with socks. Like maybe you want to make more than one stocking, but if you wanted to only make one, that's totally fine. It's not like someone's gonna wear them. So with that in mind, I have some recommendations for Christmas stockings. There's a lot out there, so I did a little bit of finding and like found my favorite ones that I want to show you. The first one is the Christmas Stocking 2020 from designer Pam Connolly, and I believe this designer kind of releases different type of stockings almost every year. So, you know, same base and just like different designs on them. I really like this one because it's like just cables. It's very elegant, and you can see still that like different colors kind of give you a different vibe in the sample. So I really like the idea of cables in a stocking. I just think it looks very classic and elegant, and I think I want to make something with cables in it. But if cables are not your thing, if you're looking more for color work, I do also have a recommendation for that type of pattern, and that would be a pattern called A Collection of 3 Christmas Stockings by Doreen Delaney Giordano. That's the designer. So you can see on the sample, the nice thing about this one is that it's very customizable. She's basically giving you 3 options of color work, so you can do whichever you want, and of course use whatever colors you want. I also really like about this one that it's customizable with names. It's still very classic, like the type of color work that they're using, you know, kind of inspired by that Nordic type of color work. It's beautiful. Definitely more of a challenge, but like I said, you can only knit one if you want. You don't have to knit two like when you knit socks. Now, if you're looking for like a simpler type of stocking, like just a stockinette stocking, if you're looking for a simpler one, maybe even with chunky yarn that will go by quickly and maybe as gifts, I do recommend the Chunky Christmas Stockings by Lauren Jorgensen. It's a nice option, very simple, and it's a free pattern. So I think it's something really easy to get on to making, and you could probably like really whip out a lot of these because it's chunky yarn. Now, if you want to decorate, if you want to make decorations, but you're not really into the stockings, for this part of the video, I have some patterns that are more towards decorating in different ways. So that might mean ornaments or other types of decoration. So of course, I'm going to start with a recommendation of something that I've made myself, which is the teeny tiny mini Christmas sweaters. You've probably seen this before, they're super popular. And I actually made a video a few years ago showing you step by step how to make these patterns. That year I made so many little sweaters, so crazy. And the fun thing about them is that you can, once again, do whatever you want with them. You can make them any color you want, you can add color work if you want. I added a letter for each one of them, so I was gifting them to different people and I would put their letter of their names in each. They truly only would take me about an hour and a half to knit each one of them. And because, you know, no one's actually going to wear them, you don't really have to worry too much about gauge or that type of thing. So you can knit them almost with any scraps of yarn that you have. I love making mini sweaters as decorations. If you're looking for a collection of little teeny tiny knitting garments other than sweaters, I do recommend the Winter Essential Ornaments by 2 of Wands, which is a pattern that includes a knitted sweater as well with like a cable design. It includes a little tiny hat, a little scarf that's not finished so you can put in little needles in there, and also includes tiny mittens. So they're very cute, really tiny, look great on a tree or as a garland. It's just like a fun little thing. And again, the nice thing about these patterns is that you can just use the scraps of all those scraps left over from other projects. So it makes a good way of like using those up in your stash. So I also found that Christmas bubbles or bowls are very popular as well, which is basically taking a regular round ornament, even like a plastic one, and then knitting kind of around it, or knitting in a way that it'll fit it so that you'll end up with a round ornament but that has that knitted detail to it. And once again, it's like a kind of thing where you can make it out of pretty much of anything, any color, any design. But there are a lot of designs out there already that have been thought out and very beautiful. If you're interested in making this type of Christmas ornaments and you're interested in color work, I recommend the ones from the designers Arne and Carlos. They have several collections, and each collection for every year has like a bunch of different designs that you can make. So it's really just like pick one and make a bunch of them, and you'll have beautiful, beautiful ornaments that you can use and reuse every year, honestly, once you make these. They're so gorgeous. Or I feel like they would also look great if you put them in a bowl or something as a centerpiece. Very beautiful. If you're more into the cable type of ornaments, I recommend the ones from designer Stacy Louise. Again, like she has a bunch of different patterns for this type of bubbles. So I love all of them. I don't know if I love the color work or the cables more. But one of my favorite knitted decorations are actually table decorations. And they are the little knitted Christmas trees that you've probably seen them before. And you know, you see those a lot also in like stores where they sell decorations of like Christmas trees made out of wood or other materials. The knitted ones are gorgeous, and I actually really want to make one for my own table. I have 2 patterns that I really like for these type of trees. The first one is the Silver Bells Christmas Tree by Meg Ritzies. Very beautiful, very simple, and I think you can make different sizes. It looks great. Or the Cozy Christmas Tree by Little Red Window, which also is a great option. I feel like you could even combine more than one type of pattern together or make different sizes, different colors. They're more minimalistic unless you put like tiny ornaments on them, but it's another style of simple designs that you can knit for your decorations. Now, if you want to talk about wearables, or garments that you want to knit with a Christmas twist, I am not actually going to touch on Christmas sweaters quite, because I already made a video where I show you my favorite Christmas, not ugly Christmas sweaters, because I don't like the term ugly Christmas sweaters because they're beautiful. So I found a bunch and I have my recommendations in a different video. You can find the link below or up here. But I do have one design that is in addition to that sweater because it didn't exist when I made that video, and that's my own pattern, the Noche Buena pullover, which I talked all about that in a previous video, but you can see a picture here. And I designed this very recently and released it in October, I think. Yeah, last month. And I'm really happy with it. It was inspired by the 1940s, and also it was inspired by the Nochebuenas, which is the Spanish word for poinsettias, the Christmas flower. I think it was a great way to put all these elements together and make a sweater that had that Christmas inspiration, but it wasn't like on your face, super Christmassy. It's a little more subtle. And unless you use the colors that I did, which are like red and white, and then it truly looks more like a Christmas sweater. But either way, I was really happy with the result, and I use Hobby yarn, and you can find the link below if you're interested in making this sweater. So I'm adding that to that other video, and I want to talk about other possible things that you can make for a Christmas design. The first one is socks, actual socks, not stockings, ones that you can wear. Socks are such a fun project, and it's like great to just, a day that you're staying in, like drinking some hot chocolate and like being cozy in like a Christmassy setting. All that needs in that scene is like some really nice cozy socks. I have a few designs that I really like. The first one is the Christmas pudding socks by Stone Knits, which they're so fun and so kind of simple because it's just color work, but I really do love them. They look really fun. They make me think of like gingerbread and Christmas food. So those are really fun ones. The nice thing about that design is that it has a bonus pattern as part of it of a matching mini stocking that's kind of like an ornament. So if you want, you can make a stocking and a sock of the same design and hang them out. It would be a great gift as well for somebody who really likes cozy socks. Another design that I found is a little more subtle, but it still has, it's color work, so you can use the right colors to give it more of like a Christmassy flair. It's the Holiday Road by Christina Danae, and I don't know, this was really beautiful and simple, but like I said, it's more subtle. It's like something that you would wear to a Christmas party and not be super loud, but still have, something cozy and kind of in the season. And last but not least, let's also talk about hats. Of course, I feel like hats are the other obvious thing. I'm starting with the classic, the Santa hat that, yes, you can knit for yourself and you can knit for all of your family with this pattern by Petite Knit, the Christmas hat. And it's simple, but it's effective and it's fun. And I love that on her samples there are other versions of hats that are not like, red and white. She has other colors and they still look really fun and beautiful. Kind of remind me of those old-timey sleep time hats that you would see in like Victorian era wearing. So I think that would be really fun, especially like a gift for a kid, and very cozy as well, depending on what yarn you use. The last hat that I'm going to recommend is called the Family Christmas Hat by Kristen Michelle. And this is like a classic V-knee type of hat, again with color work. So it has like, it's almost like if you want to give someone a Christmas sweater but you don't actually want to knit a Christmas sweater, you can always knit them a Christmas hat and still have kind of the same feeling of it with all the color work and like the repeated pattern of the trees, or there's different options and different sizes in the pattern, so you can decide what to make. So it's still I think a really nice Christmas gift and Christmas inspired gift. Very joyous and holiday in the season, but without having to, kill yourself making a whole sweater. So I hope you enjoyed this collection of patterns. As always, all of the links for the patterns are down below in the description. So if you missed something or if I didn't pronounce it super well, you can just find the list down below and find every single pattern that I mentioned, including the one I'm wearing. And also all of the videos that I mentioned are also down below. So you have some homework to do and find the right pattern for you. And if you don't feel like you have time to knit something this year, there's always other years. There's always other Christmases. And either way, whatever you decide, I hope you have a lovely holiday season. Please don't forget to subscribe and like this video so that I can make more videos about patterns that I recommend, patterns that I review, and a lot more. Stay tuned for more and have a great Christmas knitting.